Welcome back to another Marvel Legends Disney Plus Wave 2 Build-A-Figure Watcher review. Try fitting that on a post-it note. You probably could. I bet you've got really small, lovely handwriting. Today we are continuing our reviews of the What If figures, and the next part of the Watcher Build-A-Figure is his head, courtesy of absolute legend T'Challa Star-Lord from the second episode of What If, Season 1. What if T'Challa became a Star-Lord? He's got his blasters, big old Uatu head there, alternate head for T'Challa with the mask, cartoon likeness of Chadwick Boseman there, rest in power king. Let's have a little look at the artwork on the back. Same as on the side. Oh no, different than on the spine. Ooh, we've got him on the spine putting his hand to his helmet. On the back we've got him in an action pose. Very nice. It's nice and different. Caption reads, T'Challa Star-Lord. T'Challa grew up in space and became Star-Lord, now leading adventures throughout the galaxy. Leader of the Ravagers, turned them all around, made them good guys, even convinced Thanos that his plan was the worst way to go about things and he could make a better difference by helping people individually, little differences. T'Challa comes with the head of Uatu, the Watcher, and we are going to build the living heck out of him at the end of this run. But first, let's check out Star-Lord. Before we go any further, I just want to note that animated T'Challa is very tall. Look, he's a really tall figure. I just thought that was interesting. We'll get back to the main figure in just a second, but first, so here is Chadwick Boseman from the Black Panther figure based on the Black Panther movie. And here is animated Chadwick Boseman. If I can find a way to hold his head that's practical, I'm an idiot. Point is, like, I think it's the brow and the smirk more than anything. But they kind of nailed the cartoon likeness of a lot of the actors, didn't they? Like, come on. That's Chadwick. That's him in cartoon form, and his head keeps falling, so I'm going to stop holding up the head. Let's look at Star-Lord T'Challa. So, articulation-wise, his feet go backwards and forwards and do pivot sideways a little bit. Caution! Even though he's wearing boots, the feet are sculpted like little trainers, and the tongue of the trainers, like the lip at the top on the front, limits movement like crazy. He does not bend his feet forward very well, so you're not going to be doing any like Michael Jackson style tilting anytime soon, but they fold back fine. He has double joints at the knee, which is part of the sculpt of the boots, except the top of the boots is painted over the knee piece. He swivels mid-thigh. Just above mid-thigh. And he also has a waist, crotch articulation. Sort of buckles out. The figure has got such a slender build that the thighs buckle outwards slightly, which is rather odd. He has a waist swivel underneath, which is not impacted by the soft jacket sculpt over the top. The jacket is it's not too squishy, but it's definitely rubber. He has a slight ab crunch. Sorry, a crunch at the ribs. The hands are your bog standard kind of fair that bend on a pivot, a hinge that goes toward the inside of his wrist and outwards, and of course swivel. You've then got a double elbow joint, which is pretty flexible. I tried it before. I'll show you now, actually. I'm holding the damn thing. I may as well show you. It's a little stiff at first, but allows for a full bend, which of course always looks a bit dead on. Looks from the side looks really weird because it's like his arm just suddenly flattens out. But from the front, that is convincingly his arm bent upwards. There's also a subtle, because of the sculpt, swivel at the top of each arm, and his arms go out on your standard peg kind of dealio too. The neck joint is again the double ball socket, Sculpt-wise, the hands, of course, are sculpted so that he can hold heels. Signature Star-Lord weapon, which is one of his two... If I can get the damn thing in his hand. Oh my god, guys, the hands are really stiff. There we go, trigger finger in, fantastic. So he can hold one of his signature Star-Lord blasters, which are now more animated looking. Sculpt-wise, if you were looking to do a cartoon Star-Lord, and Peter Quill Star-Lord even, in a Marvel Legends quality, you could totally repaint this. But why would you, when this character is so freaking great? The Star-Lord mask is recreated quite nicely. It's an animated version, so it's a little more stylized than the MCU versions you would have got with Peter Quill figures. T'Challa's hair poking out the top, which makes for a really nice, like, sort of silhouette as well. The eyes are purple on this mask as opposed to the red of the MCU version, the main Peter Quill version. The little golden decals on his jacket are fantastic. Like the sort of, you know, the slight allusions to the teeth decals from the Black Panther armor. The sculpt on the jacket is just really nice overall. It's really plain. This is the second figure I'm looking at in the wave, and it's like the most sort of, this is an animated series character in terms of the execution of him. He comes with two of his blasters. Unlike some of the Peter Quill figures, there's not a place you can notch them onto his thighs or hips, but it doesn't really matter because I think you can either pose him with them or without them, aren't you? Let's face it. The gun has the same purple and gold decal that the main costume does, as well as silver underlining, and it's really nice. I think this is actually I think it's different. Just glancing up at my Star-Lords, I think this is different. But ultimately, I really like. There's something about the execution of the sculpt of the Star-Lord gun that I really, really like. So the two of them, and you have the head sculpt as well of T'Challa's likeness, smirking because he's having fun on these adventures, because he's an absolute intergalactic badass in this story. One of the more fun episodes of the series. There's a bit of paint bleed issue on the sideburns, as you can see, that they're not completely coloured in. On one side, whereas the other side is perfect, so maybe a tiny bit of paint correction there wouldn't go amiss. The detail's nice. It's a really nice animated series character sculpt. And lastly, he comes with an accessory, which is not meant for him, but it would look hilarious if he tried to put it on his body. The head of Uatu, the Watcher, as voiced by Jeffrey Wright in the series. This is a gorgeous sculpt. The eyes, the skin complexion, the sort of like shading of his brow. This is very, very cool, and it's getting me very excited for the eventual Build-A-Figure review. But until then, let us take a little peek at T'Challa Star-Lord in action. God, he looks so cool, doesn't he? Star-Lord T'Challa, what do you think? Me? I'm a little kind of miffed at some of the restrictions of the articulation, at the ankles, for example. But ultimately, I think he's a really cool figure. And again, kind of, if this is a sign of what the figure's going to be like going forward, I'm excited to crack open the rest of them. What do you think? Do you like him? Is he your favourite character in the series? Who is your favourite character in the What If series, Season 1? Let me know down below. And also, if you'd like to help support these toy reviews, you can like or share, subscribe, all that stuff. Or if you want to help more directly, and you've got some cash in your pocket and you're up for a giggle and you fancy a shout out, you can go to my Amazon wishlist, link below in the description, to pick me up something. As long as you leave a message with the purchase, then I will know it's you and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. But you're under no obligation, of course. You could just watch and enjoy. And make sure to stick around, because I'll see you soon for our Captain Carter review. Doodles!